What's up, everybody? Welcome to Clutch's Corner. It's going to be a long one today because we got daily, weekly, and monthly that we are going to be breaking down. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right, so the first thing that we got is AAL, American Airlines. Let's go ahead and bring up the option chain here. Okay, sweet. So obviously we can tell through this massive freaking wick that it probably didn't like being down here, right? And every time it does get down into this area, it tends to go up, right? So we're seeing that happen yet again for the same exact area where it pushed up from. And we're looking forward to see if it can push up again. Now, the first two PTs are pretty obvious right here and right here. And just to touch on this real quick, we're looking at the 16 strike price, and 6 cents is not the greatest on a smaller ticker, I'll be honest. So you'll want to use the limit trick and adjust that. Additional PTs are going to be found way farther away though, because it is quite some time before anything hit these areas. Now, obviously, this one right here sticks out like a sore thumb, right? We're going to need to make it past this if we do keep continuing to go up. But because the wick is so massive on that daily candle, we're going to keep looking for the next areas that it could possibly bounce from, which is right here off of this one and right here at the top of this two. Now, this is just because of range and what it can do. You may look at this and say, like, I don't think it's going to have that much range, but I'm telling you, it might. How can we tell? Well, let's just take the range of this day, this 32 cents, and let's start it from right there and look at that. Look at that. You're just pennies away from that final PT that I gave. So it is entirely possible for us to break entry and then hit that. It's entirely possible. I know that it does look on the chart like that's really far away, but it's not. It's within its same range on this daily candle. So that's why we pay attention to those things, range. Next, we're going to go over to AR. AR, this is a really great ticker. I'm not gonna lie, I love this ticker. There's massive exhaustion in this as well, right? This is not quite a failed two by pennies, but this is definitely showing which direction it is not liking to move into. And we can see that again over here. The last time it came up into this area, it immediately fell from it. Tried again, failed, tried again, failed. Here was try again, failed, tried again, failed. So it does not like being up here, obviously, and it has the potential to break entry and come down and test these previous low of the day before's high, right? So first PT is going to be right in here where this bounces off, this breaks through, this breaks off. There's a lot of things pivoting off of this area. Look at my dotted lines and see how it goes across and all those things that pivot off of it. Hold on, honey. The first PT, there's that early PT, is coming from the 5 minute because there is this little wall right here on the 5 minute. You can see the wall pushing it to the downside. Here, it can't get underneath it. Here, it can't get underneath it. Here, it can't get underneath it. So by zooming in a little bit, we can see that there is a definite wall right in here that it's going to have to make it through before it goes through and moves it through that. Going back to the 30-minute time frame to find the other price targets. We have the bottom of this two right in here where we can see all of these things are bouncing off of it. Bounce, wiggle through, bounce, break, switch sides, bounce, oopsies, bounce, stuck at it, bounce, breakthrough with the false breakthrough. Look at the wick, bounce, right in here. If we do break it through this, we'll come test this area, which you can see all of this has some trouble getting past. And then that final extension is the low of the day. Hey, Oakland, can you stop messing with that, please? Can you stop? Thank you. All right. And then AR for the put, we're looking at the 25.50. Love it. Next up, we got CVX. CVX has a nice failed 2 on it. This is like a pretty juicy looking failed 2. It could be more juicy, right? If the closing was a little bit lower to the bottom, that obviously would be better, but it's not. But still, let's just observe what's going on with this chart. Look at right up here, how this is really just filling the gap in all of this. And then it immediately says, okay, I'm good, right? Tried filling the gap in all of this here, but it just didn't. This definitely did. This certified the gap being closed. And then it immediately rejected from that and got its exhaustion. From here, if we break entry, we're just looking to test the day before's low, right? And if we go to the 30-minute time frame, we can start seeing where these price targets are going to come. First one's going to be right in here. We can see all of this has a hard time getting through, hard time getting through, finally breaks it and then goes through, right back up above it. So first PT is here, second PT is here, where we can see this bounce off. But again, look right over here. This is all bouncing off of the exact same things. If we break through this, then we'll come test this bad boy out, where we can see this is the test, this overextends, and these don't quite make it. After that, we'll test the bottom of this 2 and then the bottom of this 2, just because of the range and what it can go in. So we're extending a little bit out further to there for that in-between PT before that and final. Now, CVX. CVX, we are definitely going to want to be shopping at the 152.50. That's where I'm going to be looking at. You will be buying slightly in the money, but you're probably not going to hit 150, so you're not going to be in the money. And a 46 delta is something that I definitely want over a 23 delta. Like, I'd rather have double the delta. Yes, at more than double the cost. Yes, but to me, that's worth it. That intrinsic value that's going to build up and everything along that nature is going to make that really, really, really a sweet deal. Or a lot of money can be made, especially because you'll be in the money already. All righty, number 4, Triple M. Now, Triple M, last time in the video, we talked about the rev strat and look at how it did break it. And immediately was like, oops. And, you know, sometimes the trends or broadening formations do break. These are called false breaks, and then they come right back into it. We can see massive exhaustion because of this wig. It pushed down, and then the buyers pushed it literally all the way back up. So even though this is not a fail 2, we can clearly see what direction this is going in. We can clearly see who has control of this candle. The buyers have control of all of this. The sellers have control of this. So who's winning, right? Who's winning in this candle right now? Who has the control? The buyers do. So if they continue that, right, then we'll be looking for them to push it up and come test out some new highs. I didn't put this one in just because something tells me it might not do that in one day, right? I think that if it does break, that it does have the potential to go through here. Yes, this is clearly within its range. It's just, I just didn't put it. But for you guys, look here, and we'll make it pink. That's for y'all. 23 or 93, 92. Whoa, 92.63. All right, so let's continue on to the weeklies after this. So weeklies, obviously, we're going to be looking at the 15th contracts because we don't want to start getting eaten alive on Wednesday. You know, that's just not in our favor. Beautiful fail 2 off of a couple of algorithm trends that it has been trouble getting past, right? We see that continuing to happen, and now we're looking for it to push down. Since it closed beneath this bad boy, we're looking for it to push down and come test out the next side of this trend. And as far as the weekly goes, we find our price targets on the daily most of the time. Right in here, we can see that first daily PT is going to be here, where all of this you can see is chopping through. Look at it, push down off of it, go up, close at it, not quite reach it, bounce off to the downside, finally break it, finally stay on the right side, immediately crack through it and end at the same thing. Right here is algorithm number 1. Right here is algorithm number 2, where we can see all of this bouncing off of it over here. Algorithm number 3 will be right in here. We can see this stuff bouncing off of it. And then the 4th right in there. And that is a play that I am actually very excited for. Baba is something I'm very excited for coming up. I am looking at the 73 strike price. I like the price of it. I like the delta of it. And of course, the theta being only 8 is very nice. If you want to hold on to this a little bit longer, looking out to 19 days from now, it's only six theta. So to me, not really worth the difference in price and a 2 penny or $2 difference. So that's why I'm going to be shopping right in here. And I love the 3-cent spreads. I love the 35 delta. This is going to be a great trade, especially if you can hold up this all the way down to the final PT for like at least a runner or two. You're going to be sitting very pretty. You're going to be like deeply in the money. You'll make a nice return off of that. All right, moving on to Roblox. Now, Roblox is a little bit, it's on the monthly and it's on the, right? I don't know where my strat numbers went for it, but most of you should already be able to tell that this is super close to a failed 2, right? And we're looking for it to push up all the way within its range. So the weekly entries are here. But then we go to the daily to find those price targets, price target 1 being right here on the daily. And then we had to zoom in. I actually had to zoom into the 1 hour for this bad boy to really see what was going on with this ticker. So PT1 right here, PT2, look at how all of this is so sideways right in there. PT2 is right here. And PT3 is the top of this, where all of this gets in contention. PT4 right in here. And then that last PT5 is there. Now, as I said earlier, we normally go to dailies. This is just one of those times where dailies did not give the real price targets that were needed, right? It had massive space in between that a ticker like Roblox is not necessarily, like Roblox doesn't move $5 a day, right? It doesn't do that like some of these other tickers do. So we have to be a bit more conservative with those price targets, considering the range and what it can move on a daily basis, which is why I had to adjust and go to the 1 hour to find where these in-between pivots are in some of these timeframes. Now, Roblox, looking at the 42 strike price. I really like everything about this. Massive delta, tiny theta, affordable price. Amazing. This thing starts moving in our favor. You're going to be in the money by the time you hit PT1. By the time you hit the last price target, you'll be really in the money and you'll be making some sensational gains off of even just one runner. Next, BBY, which if you took the quarterly play on it and got into it when that hit entry over here, you were in this for a couple of weeks. To be honest, it might have been a doozy, but then because of earnings, you took out PT1, PT2, PT3, and PT4 in one day. You would have made a massive fucking return if you had been able to catch this. Would it have been hard? Yes, because you would have had to hold on through a massive amount of downturn. So realistically, probably no one would have held on to this. I certainly would not have for this amount of time. However, it did do its thing. After doing its thing, it immediately rejected everything and came down beneath its weekly entry or within the quarterly entry. After knocking that out, we can see the massive exhaustion in this candle. Okay, so this massive exhaustion, we can see exactly who's in control right now, right? And if we go to the daily, we can see how easy, as clear as day. It's like, oh my gosh, it already triggered. This thing is just dumping right now. So if we break entry here, then more than likely we're going to start railing through these positions that people have their stop losses in. If they're in calls from down here, they're going to have their stop losses along these points. Once we break through, we start hitting these stop losses, we're going to be removing them from the trades to push it even farther into our favor. And very quickly, we might see ourselves hit that final price target. Price targets are coming from obviously the bottom of the week, bottom of this two right in here, where a lot of things are deciding off of this area. Bottom of this two right in here where the top sides are deciding. And then of course the bottom of this two, which is just going to be that first pivot, which a lot of things you can see are waking off of it over here. So even though these are just some classic steps, we can see that those steps are in play all throughout the days before. So very, very important pivots there. BBY is also one that I'm definitely looking forward to, especially since it might have like that big sell-off movement after its earnings. Oh, did we go over BBY on the? No. Yeah, so 75.50 is where I'm going to be shopping. By the time you hit PT1, you're going to be in the money. I would try to use the little trick here for adjusting the limit order, meaning like when you get it, just try to bring it down as much as you can. If it's 5, then that's great. That puts you a lot closer to this. And then when you go to sell it, and try to bring it up to the upside, right? Now you're going to be in a better position and more in control of the spread. So yeah. INTC, Juicy failed to. Juicy failed to. This one is a little bit easier, right? Strike price is going to be just classic 44.50, which is right in between entry and PT1. So you're going to have that nice little build of intrinsic value. Prices are great for it. Delta is immaculate for it for the price. And the theta is itty bitty. We like that. From here, we're going to move on to the daily to find price targets, which you can see are right here. And then filling the gap. And the reason why I didn't go really beyond filling the gap, and then sure, you could have this one be a price target as well for the next spot up. But something tells me not to chase anything after a gap fill. Like if we do feel like we've tried and we haven't done it. But if we do it, then I think that, okay, cool. Then I'm out of the play completely in totality. Like we filled the gap piece, right? But it does look like it maybe wants to go and try to do that. And we can see right in here, wicking off of this, couldn't finish through it, pushed beneath it, wicked through it, PT1's right here, PT2, all of these wicks off of it, and then PT3 just being the gap fill. So really, really easy for that one. Then we're going to move on to monthlies. Now monthlies, let's have some fun. Juicy failed to on it, right? And this is just the first couple of days of March. It hasn't broke entry yet. But if this breaks, holy cow. And then the last time that we were down here, we had a massive push up. So if that happens again, oh my days, we're going to be sitting freaking pretty on this Tesla. Now, drawing a trend line or broad information from just the bottom of these two candles, we can see that this is exactly what this is wicking off of. And it looks like we might want to go push and touch the top of it up here. Now, with it being monthly, we're going to zoom into the weeklies to find our price targets. And Tesla has huge range on it. So even though entry is just 205, the first weekly PT is 217. So I actually went to the dailies to see like what's going on in between these areas, right? So let's go to the dailies. Boom, right here, PT1, PT2, PT3, PT4, PT5. This is a classic case of steps, but on a bigger range because this is a monthly play, right? Since it's a monthly play, we wouldn't just have, we're not going to be finding our price targets in the 5 minute, right? So at the same time, we wouldn't be using every daily candle as a PT. We look for the things that have contention in them. Things that this is the top, but look at what happens over here. It bounces off of it. Right in here, same thing. Tried to push up, push right back down. Tried to push up, push right back down. And then here's that first spot that we got to break through. So break through here, 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 here. And it looks like steps, but there is spaces in between. But these are where I see the algorithms being. Now, Tesla, because Tesla is so massive, I'm actually suggesting to get the 250 strike price. Why? Because, and oh yeah, we'll be doing it in the right day. April 5th, 250. It's like $100. It's like $100. Granted, the downside is that it's got a super fucking tiny delta, a super tiny delta. So like it moving, look at the difference here. Like it moves $5 in your favor, and fucking you've made $30. Not a lot of money, right? For it moving $5 in your favor. As opposed to if you were to get it at the money and it was $5 in your favor, your delta is massive. You get a massive return on that. It just cost 10 times as much to get into it for that return. So I figure most people can't afford $100 contract. Here it is. The thing that sucks is the fucking theta is like just as much as the delta. That is like the big downside to it. That's the big downside to it. Like if it moves like a dollar for the day, then that dollar just immediately gets taken away the next day. So good thing that Tesla moves more than $1 a day, right? That's the perk here. And why I do feel more confident going farther out of the money for this particular ticker because of that, because Tesla moves so much every day. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to Google with a nice inside monthly candle here. Every time we do come up into this area, we don't like it. So it looks like Google could be pushing down out of this area again. We're right in that same zone. We are staying beneath these trends. And yeah, this play looks really great as well, in my opinion. Going into the weeklies, we can see where price targets are going to start being found. First one, unfortunately, is right here, but it is what it is. Like even on the month, it's just right there. We can't ignore this. Like the second it came down here and hit this, it bounced right back up. So what's going to happen the next time that we get here? I don't care if it's 30 cents away. It's an early PT. It is what it is. It is literally the previous month's low, so I can't ignore it. After that, then we'll come test out the bottom of this two, bottom of this two, bottom of this two, this one, and then three. Now I know this seems like, well, isn't that just every candle? In this case, it is, right? On the weekly, because these are all weekly pit stops that it's going to have to go through. Some of them are very close to each other, and that sucks, but that just means that we need to be aware of them, rather than not scared of them or anything like that. We just need to be aware that, hey, if we break through this, our next pit stop is right here. If we break through this, next pit stop is right here. If we break through that, we'll pit stop right here, and then we'll make it to the low of this previous month. And the reason why is because there is no data in this month for us to be able to use any price targets other than the low of the month. We have 1 point, and then we have to start looking months back for price targets. So some of these price targets are from November, right? And that's just why they're a little bit staggered out like that. All right, let's see. You did. Google, I do suggest the 135. I'm suggesting the 135 because this is a lot more affordable than something like Tesla. The delta is amazing. The theta is so small, and I want everybody to have a massively fat delta with a super small theta. That's the downside when you have a super small delta and a super small theta is that the theta can just cancel out your delta every day. Not cool. With something like this, you're barely even going to notice your theta. You're not even going to notice that $5 being taken out when it moves a dollar and you made 38. You're not even going to notice. It's going to be so small. That's what I want. That's what I want in my contracts. So because of that, Google looks very Google is very advantageous to me. LMT. 431. Sorry, I just got a text message that I just read and started thinking about way too much. Okay, let me finish this up. So looking at the 460 over here, and again, this is just because this thing can move massive amounts of dollars. So it would be like nice to take it from 65 to 700. And the only way to do that is to get it further out of the money. Again, you do have the problem with a small delta with a almost the same size of theta. That is a problem. But look at these spreads up here. This is crazy. I would much rather deal with a 20-cent spread that I can then adjust and do that with, right? Like we've talked about, than like $100 spread almost. It's not quite, but you feel me, right? This is fucking ginormous in comparison. And I don't want to deal with that. Right. And I don't want y'all to deal with that. To me, that's not worth the delta because of the spread. So getting this a little further out, a couple contracts, 65 bucks a piece, lowering it down to 60, you spend like 120 bucks on 2 contracts, letting this puppy ride out for a couple of weeks and seeing what happens. To me, is worth it. To me, that's worth it. And then if this does clear, look at it, it's $5 till PT1, freaking more and more and more. It's like $30 all the way to the last price target. So if we can cover a $30 range with this off of a $120 investment, you're sitting pretty. Trust. All right. Now, this is a classic ref strat, right? With 3 being formed, giving us that broad information there. Failed 2, bouncing up off of it, showing us exactly the direction that it really wants to go. We're going to go into the weeklies here to start seeing where some weekly PTs can be. Now, as you can see probably already that, oh my God, there's a lot of choppiness in here. So up here, there is a battle of the algorithms going on, right? That's simply all that this is. So first PT is going to be right here, which we can see the algorithms are pushing off up to the upside. This is good in our favor if we get up here, and it does continue to do that. After that, this 1, or all of this does chop through. Even this 2 right here bounces off of it. So this is an important spot. Then the top of this 1, where the tops of it all push to the downside. So this is where it's going to be like, okay, now this could start pushing against us, this algorithm. But if we do break that, then we'll test the top of this 2, the top of this 2, and then of course the high of the month. But this battle of the algorithms right there, if we get to this 2 right here, the top of this 2, this first price target, and it starts pushing down, what does that mean? That the algorithm has switched. What if we push up to it and then we break it and we keep on going? What does that mean? That this algorithm is still enforced and that this push through is like done. They don't have the strength to keep it lower anymore. That we're going to push through and just start making our way up. Top of this, if we hit this and we push down, why? The algorithm's still enforced. But if we break through it, then these guys don't have the strength to push it down anymore. So there's a battle of an algorithm right here in this choppiness. That's why 3 PTs are all throughout right there. After that, we're back on Roblox. Monthly stop loss, monthly entry, just pointing those out because there is a weekly play in it as well that we already went over earlier in the video. The first price target is going to be right here, which is the previous month's low. After that, we have to go out to weeklies because that is just so close to each other. And there really isn't a PT in between that, to be honest, just because even the range of it. Still a good range though for monthly. Like it looks like it's really close, but that's almost $1, so that's great. So if we can make it past last month's low, then we'll make it to the bottom of here, which we can see we tried and pushed off very heavily. So this will be a big spot to cut majority of your contracts. Right in here, we'll test this, which is kind of, you can see like a deciding point over here even. Over here, we break through, but then we break right through it again and test it and break through it again. So here's that big deciding spot. If we do make it through this, then this is where we will have our last little bit of fight, I believe, in the monthly. And the reason why I'm not going out even more than that is because this is the previous month's low. So we're already like way past that going out over here. Range-wise, yes, it can hit it, but it would be wild for it to just like bleed that much, I think. And can it happen? Sure, but it's just not something that I'm going to be like putting all my money on to bet happen, if that makes any sense. And I'm going to be looking at the 38 strike price, beautiful delta, incredibly small theta. That's what we like. That's what I want to be sitting in. By the time that I hit PT1, I'm already in the money. By the time I hit PT1, I'm over here. So yay. I really like this a lot. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I love y'all very much. I hope that you guys got some value from this as this is a way that I like to daily pour into y'all. So God bless. I'll see y'all soon, and let's make some freaking money this month, y'all. I want to see some bread from y'all. Just I don't want Roger being the only one to show off. And I know that y'all are killing it too. And anybody that's having a little bit of trouble with anything, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hit me up. Let's have an open discussion in the chat, and let's get you on the right path. God bless. I'll see you soon.